If the thought of buying a home has felt more and more out of reach, you are not alone. Home ownership in the U.S. is near its lowest level since the 1960s, with more people turning to renting over buying. But is the American dream becoming a homeowner all it's cracked up to be?
Let's bring in our chief business correspondent, Taylor Young. And Taylor, the majority of homeowners, they say that they have some regrets in their buying decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is arguably one of, if not the largest purchase someone is going to make in their lifetime. It's emotional, it's intimidating, and now more than ever, Americans are experiencing buyer's remorse in the housing market today. Now, in order to kind of capture what those changing opinions on homeownership in the U.S., Bankrate conducted a survey asking homeowners their thoughts on the purchase of their home. And while 7 out of 10 buyers said they would go through the buying process again, nearly half said they had major regrets. The most common ones being unexpected maintenance costs in mortgages. And for many recent buyers, we're talking Gen Z or millennials, costs associated with home ownership have really come at a surprise. And that has made people kind of step back and say, was this really worth it in the long run?
Interesting. But Taylor, what has caused this shift?
So, I mean, if we just look at it big picture right now, the average cost of a home in the U.S. is nearing $500,000. It's a little cheaper in Charlotte, around $400,000, but that's still about $150,000 more than what homes were costing pre-pandemic. So I think just number one, a lot of people are entering the home market and are experiencing sticker shock. But I do think that there are two separate things happening here, two different pools of people. So the first one is your buyers that are entering the market. They're seeing that homes are a lot more expensive than they may be anticipated, so they might be stretching their budget in order to get into the home that they want. This, of course, they might be hoping that interest rates will drop. We have not seen that happen dramatically in the last couple of years. So that's one pool. But I think the second pool of buyers are people who are kind of lowering their expectations when buying a home or choosing a home to buy. And what that can typically mean is they're buying an older home. That, of course, comes with its own set of costs. Maybe you need a new roof. There's issues with the home that you need to fix. And repairs are, in some instances, 70% more expensive than they were just 5 years ago. So I think those two kind of different pools of people are kind of experiencing that regret. One being higher mortgages and two just being those maintenance costs that are really adding up.
Well, yeah, you think you're saving money by getting a cheaper home, but some things end up breaking on you.
Yeah.
So one of the draws, of course, to home ownership is that at one point it was cheaper to do that than to rent. Is that still the case?
So according to Bankrate, in all 50 metros across the country, it is cheaper to rent than buy. I mean, that wasn't the case even just a couple of years ago.
Right.
And that was really the draw to home ownership, right? Because you have rents that are continuing to increase year after year. You buy a home, your mortgage is set for 15, 30 years, depending on what you get. But nationally, mortgages are 40% more than the average cost of rent. So I think that's kind of adding to that regret meter for people not really fully aware of all the costs associated with home ownership.
So Taylor, in your opinion, do you expect this shift towards home ownership to continue?
Well, I think the silver lining here is that 82% of Americans, according to Bankrate, still think that owning a home is the American dream. However, about 50% or more than 50% of renters today believe they will never be able to own a home, which I do think is a sad reality. But you know, the average age of a first-time buyer right now is 38 years old. Just a couple of years ago, we were talking mid-20s. So that's kind of a big part of this too. But for those who are watching and are saying, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to buy a home, just know that there are homeowners out there that do regret making their purchase. I mean, 7 out of 10 said they'd rebuy their home, and that's 3 wouldn't.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, all things to consider, like anything, real estate goes up and down. But however, the trend that we have been seeing slowly is just that it's just getting more and more expensive. The only thing that's really volatile is interest rates. So when they're down, scoop up that home.
Something we'll be watching closely.
Exactly. Taylor, thank you.